Hello and welcome to the G&E Show. I'm riding solo today. I'm so glad you're here with me though, getting us through this Wednesday and the rest of the week. We're gonna knock it out with a bang. If you wanna call in today, you can do that. 310-865-8668. I'd love to take your questions. I wanted to take this opportunity since I'm rolling solo today to answer any questions that you may have about your relationship or in life or anything that you want to know from me. If I can help you in delivering that answer to you or my opinion, I'm happy to do so. But first I want to tell you about the sales boot camp we have going on this weekend. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, Grant Cardone is hosting the sales training boot camp. I will be there. It is my favorite event by far. Yes, I do even like it better than the 10X Growth Con because you can actually delve into your business on a really deep level and get some really good one-on-one training. And it's a smaller crowd, so I really get to meet and interact with people more. So I love it. If you're interested, what's the website they can go to, Francisco, for the sales bootcamp? I think it's grantcardonebootcamp.com. Okay, so I got that out of the way. That's where I'll be, and we'll see y'all this weekend. What's that? There's like 8 seats left, I'm heard. But you know a person. Okay, so what I was going to do the show on today was about decisions. How do you make decisions as a couple? Because so many people and so many couples argue about things, and a lot of struggle to get what you want in the relationship. At least certainly we do or did. And I'll just tap into it briefly, and then I'm going to answer these questions for y'all. Okay, so what we do very well is we delegate who does what in our relationship and who runs what, because both Grant and myself, I think it's safe to say, are very powerful people. We want to have our own way. We're very strong. We both don't like being told what to do very often. However, I do believe compliance is important, especially if you're going to be a leader. You have to know both, be willing to do both. Anyway, the answer to that question is we figure out who does what in the roles, and then really just do what you can to let the other person run with that. As long as they're not running the business, your relationship or your business into the ground, just let them go with it. I mean, I run the household, I run the kids, I run the behind the scenes activities. That includes everybody that helps us with behind the scenes activities. And unless I'm really causing a problem, Grant has to just roll with the flow. When it comes to my create on the house, I want to provide a beautiful, safe, warm, embracing, romantic, hot environment for us to live in. I want, when he walks in the door, I want him to feel relaxed, like shut off from the rest of the world, like, you know what, you and your family, we embrace you. And I want him to be recharged for when he goes back out and battles the world. Now, having said that, my taste might vary here and there on decor and whatnot. And I'm going to take his considerations into my consideration because obviously he has to live there too. But I don't run every move by him. If I want to mirror the column in our family room, and I think it's going to open it up and you're going to see the reflection of the ocean and it's going to make the room look bigger, blah, 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 blah. I'm not going to then go to Grant and say, can we do this? No, he trusts that I'll do that and get it done. I don't have to ask him about my decisions. And we do that with everything in our life. He's business. I don't interfere with that. Some of the decisions he makes, I don't love, but at the end of the day, I roll with it. So I just wanted to talk and mention that today because we had a situation in our life come up where I was like, you know what? Even if you don't like it, figure out a way to deal with it because, in a relationship, you're not going to like every single thing and you're not going to like every single decision, but you have to make yourself right with, you know what? It's for the greatest good that I get over my not liking of a mirrored column. Not that I have one, but that's my example. Because it made her happy. Do you know what I'm saying? Okay, so I'm gonna get right into these questions here. I love number one. It says, is there a time, or is it ever okay for me, Elena, to outshine your husband? I thought that was a beautiful question. And the answer to that is abso-freaking-lutely. Now, having said that, we are a team. When he shines, I shine. When I shine, he shines. When he wins, I win, etc. So, but if he is in a situation where we're in a business meeting and he needs to exert himself or be the man or whatever, I'm not going to go steal the show and look at me and draw all the attention on me in that moment, because that would hinder our purpose. But certainly, if I needed to be in a situation where we're out with the clients or the partners or whomever, and I need to be the woman that shines and everyone's like, wow, what a dynamic couple and blah, blah. Yes, of course I'm willing to outshine him in moments. But we're very calculated as a couple, because we are very clear as to who we are as a couple, what our brand is as a couple, who we are, and we don't play like, oh, he can't have the light, and there's no egos involved. There's no egos involved. Like when Grant wins, I win. We are a team. So we will do whatever in whatever situation that's going to be the most optimal for us and our survival. There, that answered that, right? All right. What is the proudest moment you achieved so far, and how does it help you in realizing you can do anything you set your mind to? The proudest thing I have ever done in my entire life is deliver 2 children naturally at home with no drugs, no epidural, nothing. And why is that? It made me realize I can do anything, because when you get through that, you know yourself as a human being. You know that you cannot back out when you are backed against the wall. And you know you have a strength to gut through and get the job done. And that you are not a coward. That you have an innate strength in you, that if you find it and dig in, you can conquer the world. And it has made me realize more times than not, when times are really difficult in life, that it is temporary and I can just muscle through it and get on the other side. So to me, that was the most woman badge, earning scar, whatever you want to call it, stripe, that I am so proud to wear. And I was healthy enough to be a good candidate for home delivery, and it was a very good decision for me. Now, how do you hold your glamour while being a woman who enjoys men-dominated activities, guns, MMA, boxing? So I think the question is, how do I juggle both? Certain people expect me to be more glamorous and refined and classy, especially in the position that I'm in. And I'm happy to play that. It's a good role. I love that role. I love being a woman, so it comes easy for me. It's something that comes naturally. It's something I don't actually have to work too hard in. There's the part about being a woman that's a whole lot of work, but I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about it just comes more naturally. I just kind of know what to do. Whereas the boxing and the MMA, that is a completely unnatural world. And it's something I have to really work on. However, I feel like it's the most truest to who I am. It's the weirdest thing. It's completely the opposite. So I love both, and I manage both because you know why? You want to know why, really? Like, I love being around guys. I understand men. I love sports. I love competition. I love challenging myself. And it's so important for me to experience and challenge myself in that way. I forgot what I was going to say about that, but I think the point is that's what I was going to say. If you really want to go big on this, I want to have every tool, weapon, whatever you want to call it, in my arsenal. I don't want to be a one dynamic chick who can only do, think, and react in one way. I can go with this, I can come with a spear, I can come with a blade, I can come with a gun, I can come with a smile, I can come with glamour, I can come with fun, I want to be able to not be that person that when rah happens, all I know is to rah back. I don't want that. I want options. So for me, and where I want to go and who I want to become and what I want to achieve in life, I have to reach out and expand my dimensions as a woman or a man or whatever. I mean, I'm a spiritual being. I'm not a woman. I'm not a man. I'm not a mom. I'm not all these labels. Those are identities I've decided to pick up and choose. I personally believe I'm a spiritual being. I'm a spiritual being capable of enormous, tremendous power. And that's what I'm interested in experiencing. How do I make myself bigger? I think that answered that one. What's the hardest thing about being in the spotlight? The hardest thing about being in the spotlight is how accountable I have to be. And I'm okay with that because I want to be held accountable. I want to be responsible. I'm trying to attain greatness. So I can't really complain about it, but it is the hardest thing because I have to be accountable all the time. And with that comes a little bit more introversion than I like. I want to be able to be free and test the line and, okay, let me see, can I cross the line here? How do I be more assertive? That didn't work. Maybe I should do more of this, more of that, or if I'm hanging out, something as simple as Diego, my sensei, I love this man, like he is my best friend, and he's teaching me fighting and skills, but it's completely platonic, and I would never disrespect Grant like that. But in my head, when I'm at the gym and I want to film him all the time because he's such a freaking funny character, then I get the backlash of people writing him or me and like say stupid things like, oh, y'all having sex or what. And so then it makes me go, wait, am I making that look? So I constantly have to put this attention back on me, like, how is this coming off? And I can't just be hanging with my dude friend, like I have to constantly see how it can be perceived by other people. So that's the hardest thing, the self-monitoring. I don't like self-monitoring, but I understand that's a sacrifice for being in the spotlight, which is ultimately what we're willing to do because both Grant and myself have a certain knowledge that if other people want to look at us and then apply to their life, I do believe it will make a difference and you will get better. I just believe that. So it's a sacrifice. Everyone's in a sacrifice phase. You're either in a sacrifice phase, like you're paying the price financially, where you're not spending and you're saving or trying to reinvest in yourself or your business, or you're not going out to parties or this and that, or you're paying a different price. Like, okay, now you're in the spotlight. Now you have to be more responsible in that way. But I used to think you get out of sacrifice phase. No, you just trade old sacrifices for new sacrifices. And I like these sacrifices better than those because I've been through both. And these are just different. There's still sacrifices, but I like these better because I like everything that comes along with this better. Oh my gosh, that's so funny. You were born in Spain, but don't speak Spanish. Could you explain why? I wish I spoke Spanish. That is actually a huge regret of mine. I've tried to learn it several times. I have the worst pronunciation and I give up. And I hate to admit that because I'm not one that likes to give up easily, but I do. I've given up every single time. But how I can explain this is my mother was, she worked in the American Embassy in Madrid. My mom's from she's from Greensboro, Alabama. She lives in Fairhope, Alabama now, but she's from a little small town in Alabama. She's not Spanish, and I don't have any Spanish blood in me. But she worked for a 4-star general. She was his secretary, claiming, oh, sorry, I forgot to include, she had the highest clearance possible that you could have on that base, but claims to this day that she doesn't know anything. I'm just saying. Anyway, so I was born an American citizen on Spanish soil. And my sister, who was 5, and I was 1 at the time, my mom wanted to be back in the States. So we moved back to New Orleans. We moved to New Orleans when I was 1 year old. And since my parents never spoke Spanish to begin with, certainly they weren't going to teach us Spanish with that Southern accent. So I never learned Spanish. There you go. Although I do, I better keep that part to myself. How did you get into acting? Do you miss the Hollywood lifestyle? I got into acting as an escape from New Orleans. It was like, I got into acting earlier than that. My father and I would watch these shows and we'd imitate the actors, and he always wanted to be a radio actor because he was much older. Grew up in the Depression era. So I think it was in my blood a little bit, and I loved acting. It was always an escape. And then when I wanted to get out of New Orleans, I thought, well, I mean, I was 17, I just finished high school. What else could I do? Oh, I'm gonna go to Hollywood and become an actress. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. So I did. Like, there wasn't any consideration that I couldn't, so I went. Do I miss the Hollywood lifestyle? I miss working on sets. I don't miss anything else, but I loved working on sets. I loved the crew, I loved the family, I loved the camaraderie, the teamwork. I loved when I would do a scene that I was proud of. Most of the time, I honestly loathed what I did. I could never watch anything I do. It was very tormenting to me in my 20s and 30s. I've gotten a little bit better with that now, but at the time it was actually really painful for me. I don't even know why I did it, you know? But that's the only part I miss is working on sets and being a working actor. Working actor was amazing. Okay, you want to take a caller?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Christian and the YY2.
All right, Christian, what's up?
My sister from another mister.
Oh, I like it.
It's your brother from another mother. How are you, Elena?
I'm great. You?
I'm doing amazing. And I must say, I mean, you're killing it again. I mean, we need to get the fire trucks parked outside because every single time you bring it, you bring it. So I have a question for you. And the question is this. So I work in the financial firm, Primerica Financial Services, and I mean, there's men, there's women. A lot of times I tend to coach the men, and I have some of my, top field trainers coach the women who are women. But sometimes I have to have conversations with people who aren't performing to their, potential, and I'm referring to the women. So my question is, what do you feel is the most effective way for, as a man sometimes, I mean, the ways that I would coach certain men on my team is not necessarily the same way I would, because I want to be sensitive, I want to be considerate and so on. What would you say to those people who are looking to build an empire, or how would you say the best way to communicate and articulate with people where I'm not seeing their potential? Like, what would you say the best way for me to communicate with them is?
Well, I mean, you kind of, people need to be communicated with differently, I think, based on where they're at in life. I mean, for me, I can handle pretty much anything. Some people can't. I think what you're saying is you're scared to talk to women differently than you do the guys. But every guy that I have trained with, I've only had male coaches my entire life for everything, for guns, for MMA, for boxing, for acting, for for when I built cars, shotgun world. They've all been men, and they've all said that the women are the best. Students, the best students they've ever had, because women are willing to listen, we're willing to be trained, whereas some guys come from this, oh, I got it, or this macho, and they don't want to be told what to do. So it's interesting that you're having trouble with that, because I've always heard my whole life that they would prefer to train a woman over a man any day. The thing that I would do is bring the stats. Stats never lie. Like this is what you're doing, blah, blah, blah. There's the line here, and here's the graph. It's going down, it's going up. If you want to raise your graph, you need to do X, Y, Z, blah, 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 blah. If you want this and you want to keep it up here, this is what you have to do. These have been the successful actions, the formulas. And then just try to get out of your head that there's even a consideration about this male-female thing. Like, don't worry about being delicate or sensitive with us. Certainly you can't be crude and make sex jokes. Those don't go over well with a lot of women. But certainly if you're just talking stats and how to really help someone or a woman, I think she'll be very open and receptive to hearing the information and data. I think women are very open to wanting to get better and improve themselves and proving themselves in the workplace, especially.
Right. Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
I'll definitely take that into, because I think sometimes when I have conversations, it doesn't register. It may translate as if I'm being too aggressive, but I don't really have that pushback or feedback from men. It's been one or two women. I can't speak for everyone, but sometimes I get in my head and I think, am I being inconsiderate? Am I being insensitive? What is it?
I'm very all about direct communication too. Like, just saying that, hey, at the opening of the meeting, hey, women have accused me of being too aggressive. I'm not trying to be too aggressive. This is just the way I deliver. If it's a problem for you, let me know. I'll try to make an adjustment, and then go into your pitch. Don't spend any more time on it than that. But sometimes just saying that is like, oh, okay, like, I can have that. Okay, yeah, you're going to be aggressive. Okay, I'm cool. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Don't keep it all in your heads. I voice a lot of what I'm thinking out loud. It just disarms people immediately.
Mm-hmm.
I don't, like if I'm embarrassed, I just fell. I'm like, oh my God, that was so embarrassing. I just fell into the door. Okay, I'm cool. I'm cool. Like, I use everything I can to like, I don't just pretend and then feel uncomfortable, and I just try to address everything and every situation so that there's not weirdness. I don't like weirdness. So if you got to say that in the beginning of the meeting, then say it. You're taking responsibility. Hey, I've been told by some people that I'm a little aggressive. I don't mean to be, but if I am, you have the right to tell me, and I'll try to adjust. And is that okay? Can we make that agreement? Yeah, we can make that agreement. Great. Okay, now, this is when I want to talk to you. You fucking suck!
Say that, but I mean, hey. But yeah, thank you so much. My greetings
welcome.
to Grant.
Okay, I will.
We got Lucas in Ohio.
Hey, Lucas, how are you?
Hey, I'm good. How are you?
Good, good. Did you have a question for me today?
Yes, Elena, and I want to mention, I love your diplomatic attitude that you carry with yourself. And so I need your help, Elena. I have a few questions here. I just started a business, and I'm in the stage of funding, I'm going through channels of crowdfunding and trying to find angel investors. What would you, if any, I know you've probably been through these series of stages in your own endeavors, both professional and personal. So if you can offer any advice, what would you offer for someone just starting out? I just registered my business with the state this last week, and I have a lot of ideas. I've been working on a lot of stuff, in it's in a advanced stage of development. It's ready for viable product delivery, and so a couple of my professional business friends told me to write a business proposition, and to develop, produce and put out a business proposition to be able to distribute to these potential investors. What's your advice and your take on it?
That is really more of a Grant question. Just he's got the whole market on anything business. He just dominates it. What I would say is, you have to put together something, you have to put something together. You have to get it in front of enough people. I'll tell you this, your first chunk of money is the hardest to get. Once you get that first one, and then other people see that it's safe to, so-and-so did it, okay, they feel a little more comfortable. It doesn't sound like your product is ready to monetize right now, but certainly if you can figure out how it's monetizing now, investors want to know how they're going to make their money. They want their money. So when you write the business proposal, I don't need to hear that it's going to save the world. I need to know how me as an investor is going to get my money back, how I'm going to get my money back, what are you going to do to ensure that. So I would definitely include all of that. And I don't want we might get this contract from blah, blah, blah. No, I need specifics. We have this person lined up, this person, here's the letter of intent, here's this. I don't know really what your business is, but I'm just saying as much security that you can give me in that business proposal that really makes you seem like you're committed and bona fide, it might have more of a chance with me. Okay.
You got Davis in Virginia.
Davis?
Davis.
Yeah.
Davis, what is going on?
EC. How you doing, girl?
Awesome.
Okay, I have actually a few questions for you today, if you don't mind.
Yeah, let's go.
Okay, here's the first one. This is just kind of a random question, but in snaps, I always see that you're just chilling on a workout ball. Is that to support posture, or what's the goal there? Is it for core?
First of all, I finally surrendered to even letting anyone see me on the Pilates ball. No, I cannot sit still. From a very young age, I was very hyper. Thank God the psychiatrists weren't around. They would have put me on a million drugs. I've had a trampoline my whole life. I'm just constantly in motion. I can't just sit on a sofa and watch TV. So I have that Pilates ball because I move on the Pilates ball. It's very weird. I don't know. I was mortified and embarrassed about it for so long. I was like, Grant, no one can know I bounce on a Pilates ball. It's so weird. But I do some of my best thinking on the Pilates ball and how I architect and come up with visions for us as a couple, as for the company, for this, for that. So I've just learned to embrace my weirdness. That's the only reason I have it. I do not sit on a sofa. I sit on a Pilates ball. Sometimes I do crunches, mostly not. Mostly it's just a constant motion thing. I don't like still.
I was reading an article actually yesterday about the implementation of treadmill desks. So it seems that that's actually trending. Thinking while you're physically active, stimulates your brain and allows you to get more creative and whatnot. So yeah, all right, thank you. I was just curious about that. Okay, the next question, this is my main question, is so it involves women that have been out of the workforce for a while, whether that be to raise kids or what have you, that are trying to get back into it. So let me explain with a brief backstory. My current girlfriend, I was out to dinner with her and her mother, and we were talking. Her mother's, currently a stay-at-home mom. She's raising my girlfriend's younger sister still, and she was like, "Yeah, man, I'm bored. I feel like I don't have much of a purpose because, my girlfriend's little sister is a senior in high school, so she's about to be out of the nest." She was like, "I have so many things I want to do. I want to write a book. I want to get back out in the workforce, but it's been 20 years almost. I'm intimidated, and I don't know how to sort of bridge that gap and get back out there." So I want to ask you, what would your advice be to, A, my girlfriend's mother, and B, just all the other women out there who are in this same boat, currently at a hiatus, still at home but trying to get back into the workforce and get more involved and reignite their purpose? What would that be?
Okay. She should absolutely start just doing whatever it is. She had a whole long list of things, write a book. She should actually start doing that. As far as going out into the workplace and feeling intimidated, too many people these days give too much attention on their feelings. Like, I don't care about feelings. Like, you've got to get in the habit of doing it anyway. There's so many times I am intimidated and I do it anyway. There's so many times I'm intimidated, I get laughed out, a door gets shut in my face, and I keep going back. Like, it's just, you know, just telling her, look, you know, go out. Once she does it and gets used to whatever's going to happen, she's not going to die. Then she'll have more confidence to do it again. The thing that's going to get her feeling less intimidated is by doing what she says when she says. So even if it's something as big as writing a book or something as little as I'm not going to eat a dessert and I don't eat the dessert, the more you do that, the more you build confidence in yourself. And the more of those little tiny little things that she can do, check, 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 check. I mean, it doesn't even take long. In a week, she's like, yeah, okay, I can depend on myself. I can count on myself. This is why I'm valuable. This is, you know, and then she'll start giving that to herself. So the feelings of intimidation and all that stuff maybe subside a little bit more. But regardless, she doesn't have to wait a week or until she checks off all the boxes. She just needs to practice doing it anyway. You're intimidated, good, do it anyway. You're intimidated, good, do it anyway.
Wow,
It's discipline.
well said. All right,
you know?
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Okay, you want to take one or two more questions and then we wrap up this show? Okay, let me see. Well, this one, do you really need a life partner or can you go get it alone? You can't get anything alone, ever. No empire was ever built with one person. So, do you need a life partner? No. However, you do need partners. You do need a team around you. You do need allies. You do need resources. You do need people that you depend on that back your cause and are going to help you expand. You can't do it alone. So, you don't need a life partner per se, but you will have an extreme advantage over your competition if you have the right life partner who has your back, who is on the same mission, who is giving 100% equally in the relationship. When you get those right elements, two is stronger than one, period. Two is better than one, two is stronger than one, any day of the week. You get the right number two by your side, I'm gonna crush my competition who's only trying to do it on themselves. All on themselves. I will crush them. Okay, that's that. One more, okay? How do you deal with people talking to you about Grant so much? Well, I say this in my book. I say this in my book. I'm Grant's #1 fan. So in a relationship, become your partner's #1 fan. I can say things about Grant that he can't say about himself, that edify him, and vice versa. So for me, and Grant is my partner. Like you don't understand. Like he's part me in a weird way. I mean, certainly I have my own identity. I'm my own person. You know, for all those people that are very literal, but I never get tired of talking about him because I'm his biggest fan. I'm his biggest cheerleader. We're in this together. We're in it for the long haul. And in the end, Grant and I say this all the time to each other. In the end, it's you and me. It started as you and me. It's ending with you and me. And how could I ever get tired of talking about the one that I love, that I trust, that I admire, that I depend on, who's my ally, my protection, my hero, my warrior, my king. Like, I just don't get tired of it. It's a subject that interests me. He interests me. He's been a mentor to me. So I could go on and on about him all day, even when I don't like him. Which isn't often. But you know, you've been in a relationship for 15, 16 years. There are going to be times when you don't always like the partner. And I think it's very important to be real and transparent about that. We are not a social media fairy tale couple that like everything just works and life is perfect. No, I'm a human. I have life experiences, stuff happens to us, we deal with it, and we move on. So, I don't know, I'm segueing, I'm going off into all kinds of directions, but you know what? One thing nobody can take away from us is we have a stat in an area. This 4th of July, we will have been married 15 years. We've both been loyal. We've not both been perfect, but we've both been loyal. We trust each other. We're each other's partner. We have each other's back, and nobody can take that away. Nobody can take that away from us. So I hope you enjoyed the G&E Show today. I loved this format. It was so fun for me. Thank you for all your questions. I know I didn't get to them all. I'm kind of long-winded. But since I didn't have my counterpart to cut me off, I thought, hey, I might as well indulge. So thank you for allowing me that indulgent moment. And as always, we will come to you every Wednesday. We're not perfect, but we're figuring it out. Stick and stay is bound to pay. We love you all. Go kill it. Go create your monster mega empire. Help as many people as you can along the way. Be great, and I'll see you at the top.